Hello there, string pickers. Glad to have you here. What the crap? Well, hello, all of you string picking guys and gals. Welcome back to Obscene Studio. In today's episode, stuff keeps breaking and I don't like it. As you've seen in the intro, for some reason, the old toggle switch here does not want to work anymore in the neck position. I know that it is not the pickup because it works in the middle position. String pickers, I've said before and I'll say it again. I am forever chasing tone. So when it comes to switches and knobs on the guitar, I like the switches. I like them a lot. And I like knobs too. This has been giving me some trouble for quite some time. When I first got this guitar, it had a bad problem of barely touching and it would go into the middle position. So I took the three-way switch out, made a few little minor adjustments to it to add some tension on this so that it would stay into place and would not fall out easy. Lately though, it's been happening again, and now it has a new problem. Now sometimes I'll go into the neck position and it'll work, then other times I'll go into the neck position and it does not work at all, and then I have to sit there and play with it to get it to work. I can't have that, but I have this. This here, string pickers, is a three-way toggle switch, almost identical to the one that's in there. It's made in China, of course. What ain't these days? JD Moon is the brand of this. I bought this for $9.99 on Amazon. The reason why I got this one, number one, was it had pretty good reviews. Number two is it came with that little brass knob. See, it looks all shiny and gold like. Might be able to take that somewhere and get money off of it right there. But this is exactly how that one was set up. Same three-way toggle. Now, I understand, string pickers, there are better products out there and there are better three-way toggles out there than this one right here. But I decided to go back with the same because when I look at the age of this guitar and then see how the toggle has performed, I think to myself, maybe I'll just go with a little bit better than what was in there. Me and Richie have a good relationship. He doesn't break down. He doesn't tear up that much. He doesn't give me any problems. I've made very little mods to him. Nothing really structural to that guitar. So, I mean, it's not like I'm going to toss him in the trash. But you'll do what I say. Yes, you will do what I say. I want to keep Richie around for a long time. I've never been a Les Paul guy. Never cared much about Gibson Les Pauls or Epiphone Les Pauls. Not enough to buy one anyway for that inflated price that you see on a lot of them. Yeehaw! But the LTD Eclipse series guitars are just right up my alley. I love those guitars. They are just money when it comes to playing and finding tone. And so I'm going to put him on the bench today, and while I'm on the bench, I'm also going to spray some cleaner into one of the pots because I noticed that it is a bit scratchy. However, that is not the problem. So we have to assess the situation and then we have to fix the situation. I got to admit, this has bugged me and bugged me for a long, long time. This whole toggle switch thing on this, and to be quite honest with you, I have thought several different times about going with a different kind of toggle switch, but it's not like I play professionally. I'm not out there touring with this guitar or anything like that. This is a guitar like many other guitars in this studio. I just like to grab it once every now and again, pick it up, jam out with it for a little while, and just be done with it, you know, put it up for a little while, get it down for a little while. But for some reason, it will do that every single time, and then it takes forever to play with that toggle switch to get some kind of connection going on in that thing in order. I've got little spots all over this thing. I really got to start watching the backs of my guitars. It's starting to look terrible. So I had enough. I was playing it the other day and I switched into the neck position to get into a bluesy type solo. And guess what? No sound. No sound whatsoever. So I decided upon that point, time for a new toggle switch. So yeah, it's been giving me a lot of grief. I don't know why, but every now and again stuff breaks. Imagine that. Being a musician and having instruments that break. Actually, that is about identical to this one. Almost perfectly identical. Except that one's just a little bit taller. We'll see how that makes a difference real quick. I don't know if I'll be able to use it or not. Oh yeah, we can use it. I was worried it wouldn't come through enough on the other side and that I would have to kind of drill that hole out just a little bit, but yeah, that will work just fine. Okay, so the plan looks like this one has a wire here in the center, a wire over here, and a wire over here. So we need to keep that in mind. And it looks like the ground comes to the other side. See, look, there went that pin that I was telling you about. That's exactly what I was telling you about, was that pin. See, I had to put this in there to keep that straight. Okay, let's cover up the body here because we don't want any kind of solder or anything like that dripping down on the stuff. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some solder to this. So let me get my handy dandy little tool right here, and we have it turned around that way. So we're going to turn this in the same direction. For you beginners out there, I always like to say take pictures of everything. Always take pictures. That way you know the exact orientation. See, this is going to be over like this. We're going to do the same here. Once this comes off of here and goes over here, that way I know this wire comes to the top, this wire to the middle, and the other wire is going to be on the bottom. And then we know that the ground wire comes across to the other side. But for right now, what we're going to concentrate on is putting a little bit of solder on this thing. So when we get the wires over here, all we got to do is heat them and touch them, and then we'll be good to go. In order to do that, break out my little thing here. Now that says 480, but that's in Celsius. And then this solder is like a small flux core solder. And basically I'm just going to touch right here, add just a little bit of solder right there. Then we're going to do the same in the middle, and then we're going to do the same for the bottom. And then we're going to come over here on the other side and we're going to do the same over here. Some right across through there. Let's do just a little bit more, just in case. All right. Then we get our little sponge out here, clean off this solder. Sponge is getting a little bit wore out. I'm going to end up having to give me another one. You can tell how much I solder in here. Okay, so now we've got that. There's solder on every piece here. So now what we need to do is take these wires off here and then attach them to here. So what we're going to do is lay this down in this orientation right here. Take these wires off here. I know you guys out there that are subscribed to my channel have seen this a million and done this a million times, but this is catered for the beginners. Because I know a lot of beginners out there that would run into this problem and be like, well, this guitar's junk, and then just throw it away. I used to be one of those beginners when I was a young man. And it looks like the blue wire goes here, the white wire in the center, and the yellow wire to the right. So let's do this. Let's go here, here, and here. Blue, white, and yellow. That's where our wires are going to go. I just done a little diagram of how those look, and then blue, white, yellow. Let's see if they'll come off with any kind of heat whatsoever. Some of this solder that people use, I think, is rated for a higher temperature than the solder that I use. I would like to know what that is, because I would love to get my hands on it. I mean, I trust my solder, but not all that much. Okay, and there's the old one. So we're going to put the new one in, and like we said, in this orientation, I know a lot of you guys like to put them through the little holes and then solder them like that, but well, I've come to find out when you're changing parts that are soldered into wire and everything, if you have them through the hole, it makes it a lot harder to get that to turn loose. A body can't have three hands, you know, so you have to do what you can with two. This one goes out to Cal B, Chris at BCG 5150. And anybody else out there that's ever made the comment that you're not a good solderer until you burn yourself at least 10 times, I know you guys are waiting for that to happen to me on camera. Don't be lying. I know. My solder joints are not professional. I will tell you that. Not professional by no means, but I hate burning myself to the extent of I will do what I have to do to keep from doing that. I'm allergic to fire, break out in blisters. All right, so that should have that part of that done. But before we button this up, we're going to check it out. So I have got my carbon plugged up. That should be bridge position. That's middle. And that's neck. So there you go. We're going to button this up real quick, and then we are going to look at the scratchy pot that I've got and make for sure that it is cleaned out. A helpful tip while installing these pots, because I have made this mistake before too. Back in the day when I didn't know a whole lot, not even enough to get me by. Okay, we're in the middle position here, so we know that both pickups are going to play all the volumes, and the tone is up. Well, I tell you what, we had it split for that little demo at the beginning. Okay, so let's swap it into what's supposed to be the bridge position, and it is. You'll hear it here, but you won't hear it here. So we know that that is the correct orientation. So we can go ahead and tighten it down. And as you tighten, make sure that you've got your hand on the underside so that it does not spin in that little electronic cavity, and then just tighten it down. This one's a whole lot more gold looking than the other one. I'm not lying, guys. When it comes to toggle switches, I don't know what it is. Switches, buttons, knobs, I have an unhealthy addiction. My wife will not let me go to the toy section because of the try me buttons. It's always been like that. And there we go. Man, I'm going to tell you something. It is so good. And the problem in the past that I had with this is that I don't know if you can see this or not. Let me get a light. But do you see one side is leaned in further than the other side? You see that? Now, I've always had that kind of problem, and I've had to take this side here and bend it back in a time before to keep it from falling out of the position I had it switched to. So won't have to worry about that now. I don't know why I've not changed that before. I don't, it's just, don't ask me. It's just one of them things. But I kind of just put it off, made little adjustments to it. This one feels great. You have to have some force behind that one to get it to even fall out of position. I'm going to have to wash this rag. It's dirtier than I don't know what. About time for this guitar to get a bath again. Okay, so now we've got that in there, and let's go ahead and flip it back over, and we're going to put our plate back on it. Okay, so the middle pot is the culprit here, and I'm not sure how well this will pick up on the mic, but all the way down, I don't know if you can hear that sizzle. On the other volume pot, we'll have to swap positions for that. That one does not act bad at all. So, and if you'll notice, there's my treble bleed, and we also changed out the tone capacitor in this one. And both are doing exceptionally well. By the way, I have played the time out of this guitar, and I cannot believe how well this thing is doing. So, let's shoot just a little in here. These pots have a small opening on them that allows you to spray cleaner and deoxit into. And that's what we're going to do there and right here. And then we'll work that back and forth a big bunch of times. A whole lot. That way we don't get no scratchiness. I know at some point I'll probably end up having to change these pots out, but just right from 0 volume to about 1 is where I get that scratchiness from. And a lot of that is I don't ever dial my volume pots back to 0, because what good's a guitar if there ain't no sound coming out of it? Okay, and we've moved to the middle knob now. Okay. No more scratchiness on that one, so let's move it in. Try this. Yeah. And that's all you have to do. Always remember, though, to kind of get a little rag or something like that in case there's any down in the cavity. Kind of like what I've got right here. I put just a little too much in there. So what I'm going to do is just twist the corner of this little microfiber cloth, get that excess out of there. Most of the time, that stuff will just stay in that area, especially the deoxit. If it's just a cleaner, it dehydrates on its own, but it's not too easy to dehydrate if you put the cover back on there real quick. So let me get this buttoned up, and we'll go right back to a sound sample of this guitar. And another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one down. And another one. Well, string pickers, that is, I can't help it. That is a good three-way switch right there. That will serve its purpose for quite some time. So yeah, another one bites the dust. Don't know how long it'll last before something else tires up, but for right now, Richie is in good standing with the studio. I have done a whole lot in the past few weeks to this guitar. I mean, tone capacitors, treble bleeds, cleaning the pots, a new three-way switch. I mean, there ain't much else left to do except for just take the neck and the body and burn them and give them a new neck and body. I don't know. But Richie is, I love Richie. I traded a Charvel for this guitar, and that Charvel had active pickups in it, and they just sounded terrible to me, to my ear. The guy that got that guitar was wanting a Charvel for quite some time, and I told him, I said, man, I've got one, and he showed me a picture of this. And money value, I traded up, but I guess ear value, tone value, he traded up, so it was kind of even on both of our parts. But I wanted something that could handle my standard, my drop D playing, my half step down playing, and this guitar will do that. It's got really low action. and it's a lot of fun to play. I've always said this is like one of my top favorites in this studio. It's just beautiful. I mean, look at that gold. Just look at it. Look at it. Make a body feel rich, even though he's broke as a joke, like I am. So, string pickers, that is it for this episode. I would just like to say thank you to all of my subscribers and to you guys that stopped by here to view this video, and you over there in the corner, and you back there, yeah, with your hand raised, yeah, thanks. So that's all I've got, and I just wanted to say thank you, especially to my subscribers. If you are not subscribed to this channel, what are you doing? Just hit the button, and that way you can come back and you can join me whenever I get into little adventures like this. Maybe have a laugh while you're doing it, because behind this channel, my whole premises is to put a smile on your face and help you gain a little bit of knowledge. Not that I have much to give. I'm sort of scraping the bottom of the barrel these days, but that's all I've got for you today. I really appreciate it. As always, I give each and every one of you all my best. I hope that you have the most blessed day ever, and I pray that God is with you all. Until next time, later.